Do women have higher sex drives? Is the question. I guess this is a spoiler review. I'm very bad at giving spoilers. Is this? Yes, I guess it's documentary. Can you spoiler a documentary? It's actually not a documentary. Whatever. So, if you're a man, I won't call you a male person, a man. This is a very interesting video, movie, film piece to watch. It gives you good insight into the mindset of women that are not really loudly talked about enough and is only gradually coming into the awareness of men at the moment. Particularly in the area of, particularly the first 20 minutes. I'm going to call it a film, it's not a documentary, of this film. The first 20 minutes allowing men to understand how picky women are. The women do have a pretty long list of things that they want in a man, and will largely just try and find the 20% of men who are close to achieving that list, and 80% of the world are not going to be good enough to satisfy the majority of women in the world. This statistic of 80% of women are competing for 20% of men. I've read many studies into statistics like this, and yeah, that's actually roughly how it is. Most women are only looking for a small number of men. And this is something that we need to consider. That, biologically speaking, yeah, most men are not going to find a partner or a good partner. And life is going to be hard. So that's interesting. And I recommend watching this and going, yeah, look, this is a film made by a woman, like, you know how a lot of women do think. So like I said, first 20 minutes of this film, very interesting. This is it. In total, this is a very badly made film. Why? Because it poses itself as a documentary giving evidence, fact, information. It's actually just opinion of the woman who made the film. Again, there's value in it because it's always interesting to listen to women think and their viewpoint of the world. But it's not a documentary. The majority of things spoken about in this film aren't true. Pretty much anything that they mention about biology of males is not true. For example, they promote the myth, again, majority of women no believe this. You can tell when a man is aroused because he has an erection. Google penises. Read a book about penises. Read a book about sex. Have a basic level of understanding how a male body works. Ask a man. Talk to a man. You can have an erection and not be aroused. Sometimes just relax. You get aroused. You can be aroused and not have an erection. Like, seriously, this is really simple stuff to understand. You can understand in a paragraph or just simply talk to men. Like, I am interested in watching films created by women and women expressing their opinions and their view of the world, even if they're terribly, terribly, terribly factually incorrect. It gives us insight as men into the minds of women. Other way around, if you want to understand anything about men, I don't know, talk to men. We like expressing ourselves and our feelings and opinions. Anywho, anything to do with men, this film is just not true. Even the bizarre thing on, like, when there's a part of the movie, I think it's about 22 minutes into the movie, when they start saying things like history. See, this is his story, but before history we had her story. Is this complete garbage I made up? The word history The word history was invented by Aristotle in his book, The History of Animals. The word history literally means to inquire. It has nothing to do with the male perspective. Aristotle might be male, and at the time, and for a long time, the majority of historians would have been male. It is irrelevant to the study of history. Because when males make stuff up and put in history, other males turn around and try and correct them. It has nothing to do with maleness, other than, like, it's just nonsense. Like, and like this, like, it is interesting to break up human history into matriarchy when feelings and the body and sexuality were more prominent than, say, what we might call the patriarchy. It's not a historic fact. It's just a artistic way of expressing things. There's no such thing as history. History does not mean his story. Like, seriously, again, like what I said about penises, Google these things. Read Wikipedia. Like, pull away from the opinions of people. Go to facts. Learn more. God damn it. You know, and there's a lot of this. And this is the point in the film where it just kind of falls down a terrible rabbit hole of feminist nonsense. And it's just feminists having a pain inside themselves, and they want more power and freedom. That makes sense. And they want to highlight these issues of all these abuses and bad things that happen to them, which makes total sense. But then go off on a man insane rant that's absolutely nothing to do with reality. Like now, I'm going on a rant and I have no idea what I'm saying. And I'm catching myself and bringing it back to reviewing this film, not a documentary. There's some nonsense, some anti-porn. This it goes from porn is bad to actually it's kind of okay if we do it differently, and it's kind of like there's opinions I need to go back and forth. Like you like the film ends with the woman just kind of just expressing what her opinion is on the matter, and I go, cool, that's nice you're expressing your opinion. But if you're calling a documentary, I don't care for your opinion. I want the actual... I'm only interested in the facts and studies when you call it a documentary. If you just want to summarize everything with your opinion and your beliefs, it's quasi-propaganda piece. So, to end this review on a more positive note, one really interesting fact, and if you're paying attention to my review... If you gotten from a review, I like the facts. I don't like the weird, random, hysterical nonsense in between the facts. In fact, it starts and ends with facts. One of the most interesting things I came across in this is how smoking was introduced to women. I believe it was around the 1920s, like razor blades and a lot of products that used to be focused only towards men. In fact, advertising in general is generally focused towards women. Even products from men, but that's a rant for another day. About how they linked the feminist movement to smoking to sell cigarettes, and smoking became a symbol of feminism. That's actually what happened. And again, negative comments are fine if I'm saying this because I'm not going to go into detail. I like to point out how feminism has usually been used to market products to women. Growing up in the 90s, it was Gold Power selling soft drinks, clothes. Like, quite often feminism is used to take advantage of emotionally wounded women or physically wounded women and to give them a product to solve their problems. The ties between smoking and feminism is a perfect example of this. So I'm thankful towards this film for highlighting what actually women are interested in men, because it's very interesting and important for us to understand, and also the connection between smoking and feminism. But most of this film It's just nonsense. So I would say, men, watch this. This is it's interesting to hear what women think. Women, fact check things. Just fact check stuff. Just fact check things.